There are things we just can't explain. There are things that science can't grasp, and there are things that only those who have truly lost someone can understand. Claire knew this better than anyone. She worked as a caretaker at a rural cemetery in the New Zealand countryside. A small place surrounded by green hills where the wind carried the scent of rain and wet earth. It was a quiet job, lonely, and that was precisely why she had accepted it. Because after Lily died, Claire could no longer hear the noise of the world. She had lost her daughter a year ago. Lily was only 9 years old when she passed away, and since then, Claire woke up every morning feeling as if a part of her had been ripped away and buried along with the girl. She stopped talking to people. She stopped smiling. She stopped believing that life had any meaning. The cemetery was the only place where she could still breathe. That was why, on that Thursday morning, when Claire arrived at work and saw something different, she felt her heart clench in a way she hadn't felt in a long time. There was a dog lying on top of one of the graves, a yellow Labrador, thin, dirty, with matted fur stained with dried mud. He was motionless, as if he were waiting for something, or someone. Claire stopped about 3 meters away. She recognized that grave. It was recent. He had been buried there only 10 days ago. The name on the simple wooden cross read, Thomas William Carter. A good man. Rest in peace. Claire didn't know who Thomas was. No one had attended his funeral. No flowers, no wreaths, only the sound of earth falling onto the coffin and the silence of someone departing alone. But now, there was a dog there, and he wasn't just lying there. He was watching. Claire approached slowly, carefully. The dog raised its head and looked at her. Its eyes were golden, deep, full of something she recognized immediately. Pain. "Hey, kid," she said softly. "Are you okay?" The dog didn't move. Claire crouched beside him and saw his paws. They were injured, bruised, bleeding in places, as if he had walked for days without stopping. She felt a lump in her throat. "You came from far away, didn't you?" The dog simply lowered its head again, pressing its snout against the cold earth of the grave. Claire went back to the storage room and got a bowl of water and a piece of bread that was left over from her snack. She returned and placed it in front of the dog. "Come on, have a drink. Eat something." He didn't move. Claire tried pushing the pot closer. Nothing. She stood there for almost half an hour, waiting, watching, but the dog didn't get off that grave. The next day, he was still there, and the next day as well. Claire brought food. She brought a blanket. She even brought a cardboard box for him to protect himself from the cold night wind. But he didn't accept anything. He just lay there, lying down, motionless, as if he were waiting for someone to wake up from under that earth. Claire tried to call animal control. But when they arrived, the dog had disappeared into the trees and returned in the early morning. She tried to pick him up. He growled. She tried to put a collar on him. He backed away. And then, on the afternoon of the 6th day, it began to rain. It wasn't just any rain. It was a heavy storm, with lightning tearing through the gray sky and wind bending the tree branches. Claire was locking the gate when she heard it, a low sound, desperate, a cry. She ran back to the cemetery, the rain beating against her face, and saw the dog still there lying on Thomas's grave. But now he was different. He was scratching the ground with its paws, desperately, as if it were trying to dig, as if he were trying to get in, as if he were trying bring someone back. And it was in that moment, under the cold rain, watching that broken dog try to tear away the earth that separated him from the person he loved, that Claire felt something she hadn't felt in an entire year. She fell to her knees in the mud. She picked up the dog, and for the first time since Lily died, Claire truly cried because she understood that dog was doing exactly what she wanted to do. He was trying to bring back the one he loved, and nobody could stop him from trying. But what Claire didn't yet know was that that dog hadn't come there by chance, and what she was about to discover would change both of their lives forever. Claire held the dog against her chest as the rain poured down on them both. He was shivering, Not from the cold, but from something bigger, something she knew well. Despair. "I know," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "I know what you're feeling." The dog stopped scratching at the ground. He lay still in her arms, and for the first time in 6 days, he rested his head on her shoulder and let out a low, long whimper that sounded almost human. Claire squeezed him tighter. "Come with me," she said. "Please, just for today." She didn't know if he would accept. She didn't know if he would try to run away again. But when she started walking towards the gate, holding him in her arms, the dog couldn't resist. He simply closed his eyes, as if he had given up, or as if finally he had found someone who understood. Claire lived alone in a small house 3 kilometers from the cemetery. It was a quiet house, empty, filled with photographs of Lily on the walls and toys she never had the courage to put away. She entered through the kitchen door, carefully placed the dog on the floor and grabbed an old towel to dry him. He didn't react. He just stood there, staring ahead, his golden eyes lost somewhere in the distance. Claire prepared food. Rice with shredded chicken. She put it in a bowl and left it in front of him. This time, he ate slowly, as if each bite hurt. She sat on the floor beside him and, for the first time in months, felt something akin to companionship. "You need a name," she said softly. The dog stopped eating and looked at her. Claire thought for a moment. And then the word came, as if it had always been there, waiting. "Hope," she whispered. "Hope. Because if you're still here, trying, it's because there's still hope somewhere, right?" Hope shook her butt, just once. But it was enough. That night, Claire gave him a bath. The water came out brown, full of dirt, dried blood, and mud. She carefully cleaned the wounds on his paws, applied ointment, and bandaged the most injured areas. Hope left, without resisting, as if she knew she wouldn't hurt him. When Claire finished, she led him to the living room and prepared a makeshift bed with blankets on the floor. But when she got up to go to the bedroom, Hope followed her. She stopped at the door. "Do you want to sleep here?" Hope lay down beside her bed. She rested her head on her paws. And for the first time in days, she truly closed her eyes. Claire lay down too, and slept through the night. No nightmares. No waking up in the middle of the night looking for Lily, because for the first time in a year, she wasn't alone. The next morning, Claire took Hope to the only veterinary clinic in town. It was a small place, run by a woman named Dr. Hannah, who knew everyone in the area. "Oh my God, Claire," Hannah said as soon as she saw the dog. "Where did you find this poor thing?" He showed up at the cemetery. He was lying on top of a grave. He wouldn't move at all. Hannah frowned and crouched down to examine Hope. She checked her teeth, her paws, her weight. And then she picked up the microchip scanner. "Let's see if he has a registration." She ran the device across Hope's back, and the scanner beeped. Hannah looked at the screen, and her face changed. "Claire, this dog has a registered owner." Claire's heart tightened. "He has?" Hannah turned the screen towards her. Animal's name, Hope. Owner, Thomas William Carter. Last updated 3 months ago. Address, Regional Animal Shelter, Emergency Adoption Section. Claire felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. "Thomas," she repeated, almost voicelessly. "Thomas Carter?" Hannah nodded slowly. "Did you know him?" "No, but I know who he is. He was buried in the cemetery where I work. It's been 10 days. Hannah was silent for a moment. Then she picked up the phone and called the shelter. The conversation was brief. But every word Claire heard felt like a punch to the chest. Thomas had taken Hope to the shelter 3 months earlier. He was sick. Advanced stage cancer. He had no family. He had no one. And he knew he wouldn't be able to take care of the dog until the end. So he did the only thing he could do. He left Hope in a safe place and asked that they find a good family for him. But Hope never adapted. He wasn't eating properly. He didn't interact with anyone. He spent entire days staring at the door, waiting for Thomas to come back, until 2 days after Thomas's burial, Hope escaped. Nobody knew how. Nobody knew where he had gone, but now Claire knew. He had walked more than 60 kilometers, alone, with bleeding paws, without stopping, until he found the only place in the world where Thomas's scent still lingered. Claire looked at Hope, who was sitting next to her, looking at her as if he were expecting something. And then she understood. Hope hadn't given up. He hadn't accepted that Thomas had left. He had come back to get him, because true love doesn't understand goodbye. Before I tell you what Claire decided to do at that moment, subscribe to the channel and leave a like, because what's coming next is the kind of thing you only believe when you feel it in your heart. Claire left the veterinary clinic with Hope beside her. She didn't say anything on the way home. She just drove in silence, her right hand resting on his head, feeling his soft, clean fur now, feeling his warmth. She didn't know what to do. Technically, Hope still belonged to the shelter. They could demand that she return him. They could try to put him up for adoption again, but Claire knew that this would kill him, not in the literal sense, but in the way that matters, the way that extinguishes the light in someone's eyes, the way that makes the heart stop beating, even when it's still beating. She had seen this happen before, with herself. When she got home, Claire sat on the living room floor and Hope lay down in her lap. She gently stroked his ears, trying to organize her thoughts. And then, without planning, she started talking. Not with Hope, but with Lily. I don't know if you're listening to me, daughter. I don't know if this is how it works, but if you're there, somehow, I need you to help me understand what I'm doing now. She looked at Hope, who looked back at her with those golden eyes full of something that seemed to say, I lost someone too. Because this dog here, Lily, he did what I wanted to do. He didn't give up. He went after him. He believed that his love was greater than the distance, and I can't leave him alone again. Claire felt the tears welling up, but this time, they weren't tears of despair. They were tears of decision. She picked up the phone and called the shelter. The conversation was brief. She explained who she was. She explained where she had found Hope. She explained that he was doing well now, fed, cared for, and safe. And then she asked the only question that mattered. Can I adopt him? There was a pause on the other end of the line, and then the attendant's voice returned, softer. He never quite fit in here. We even considered, well, we thought maybe he wouldn't be able to live without Thomas. If you're willing to take care of him, Claire, we'll approve the adoption today. Claire closed her eyes and took a deep breath. I'm willing. That afternoon, she signed the papers. Hope now had a new home, but Claire knew he still needed one thing. He needed to say goodbye. So, the next day, very early before the sun had fully risen, Claire put Hope in the car and drove to the cemetery. She opened the gate, walked with him to Thomas's grave, and stopped. Hope stood still too, staring at the wooden cross, staring at the earth that covered the man he loved. And then, slowly, he lay down, not out of desperation, not by trying to dig, but with something different. Acceptance. Claire knelt beside him and placed her hand on his back. He loved you, Hope. I know he loved you. And he didn't leave you because he didn't want you. He left you because he had no choice. But he loved you until the very last second. I know he loved you. Hope closed her eyes and rested her head on the ground, right on top of the grave, and Claire realized he was saying goodbye. They stood there for almost an hour. In silence, just the two of them, the cool morning wind blowing through the trees, the smell of damp earth, the distant sound of birds waking up. And then, for the first time since arriving in that place, Hope stood up on his own. He looked at the grave one more time, and then he looked at Claire, as if to say, it's time to go. Claire felt her chest tighten, but she smiled. Come on, kid. Let's go home. They walked together to the gate. But before leaving, Claire stopped, because she knew she had one more thing she needed to do. She looked at Hope. I want to introduce you to someone. She led him to the other side of the cemetery, to a small gravestone covered in dried flowers that Claire changed every week. The name was Lily Ann Morgan, our girl forever loved. Claire knelt in front of the grave and Hope sat down beside her. This is Lily, my daughter. She was 9 years old when she passed away, and since then, I haven't been able to breathe properly. I woke up every day feeling like a part of me had been ripped away. And I didn't know how to go on. She looked at Hope, who looked back at her with those eyes full of understanding. But then you appeared, and you showed me something I had forgotten, Hope. You showed me that true love doesn't give up, that true love overcomes distance, pain, the impossible, and that we don't need to forget those who left to be able to live again. Hope rested her head on her shoulder, and for the first time since Lily had died, Claire felt something like peace. They stayed there for a few more minutes, together. And then Claire stood up, wiped away her tears, and looked at Hope with a small but genuine smile. Let's go home now, and we'll come back here next week, okay? Hope wagged her tail, and the two left the cemetery. Together, no longer broken, but whole. In a new way, because shared pain turns into love, and shared love becomes healing. But Claire and Hope's story wasn't over yet. Because what happened in the following weeks would show her that sometimes miracles don't come from heaven. They come with 4 paws, a loyal heart, and a second chance we never imagined we'd have. Weeks passed, and for the first time in over a year, Claire's house was no longer silent. Hope followed her everywhere. When she woke up, he was by her bedside. When she cooked, he sat in the kitchen doorway and watched her. When she cried in the middle of the night, he would press his nose against her face and stay there until she could breathe properly again. He was more than just a dog. He was companionship. He was purpose. He was living proof that even after losing everything, it was still possible to find something to hold on to. And every week, as promised, Claire took Hope back to the cemetery. First, they visited Thomas's grave. Hope would lie there for a few minutes, quiet, as if he were talking to someone only he could hear. And then he would get up, wag his tail once, and look at Claire, and the two walked together to Lily's grave. Claire spoke to her daughter. She told her about her day. She told her about Hope. She told her that now she could smile again, that she could sleep again, that she could remember Lily without feeling like she was going to collapse. And Hope stayed there, sitting beside her as if protecting them both. One day, while Claire was changing the flowers on Lily's grave, an older woman approached. Her eyes were red, as if she had recently been crying. "Sorry to bother you," she said softly, "but I've seen you here with that dog a few times before, and I just wanted to say that it gave me hope." Claire stopped and looked at her. The woman continued, her voice breaking. "I lost my husband 3 months ago, and since then, I haven't been able to leave the house. I can't feel anything anymore. But when I saw you here, with him, visiting, living together, I thought, maybe I can too." Claire felt a tightening in her chest. She stood up, walked over to the woman, and hugged her. "You can do it," she whispered. "I know you can, because I also thought I wouldn't. But we don't need to forget in order to live. We just need to learn to carry love along with the pain." The woman cried on her shoulder, and Hope came closer, rested her head on the woman's leg, and stayed there, as if he knew exactly what she was feeling, because he had sense too. That night, when Claire returned home, she sat on the living room floor, and Hope came and lay in her lap. As she always did, she gently ran her hand through his hair and smiled. "You know what you did, right, Hope? You didn't just save me, you're saving other people too." Hope closed her eyes and sighed deeply, the way dogs do when they are completely at peace, and Claire realized something she had never realized before. She had spent an entire year thinking her life was over when Lily left. But the truth was different. Her life was not over. She had simply changed shape, and Hope had been the messenger who came to show her. This because sometimes the love we lose doesn't go away. It just transforms. It comes back in a different way, with 4 paws, with golden eyes, with a heart that understands pain because it too has lost, and he teaches us that shared pain turns into love, and shared love turns into healing. Today, Claire still works at the cemetery, but now Hope goes with her every day, and every time someone arrives there alone, broken, not knowing how to go on, Hope approaches. He rests his head on the person's leg. He stays there, quiet, as if he were saying, "I know what you're feeling, and you're not alone." Because true love never dies. It just changes address. It overcomes death, distance, the impossible. And it finds us again, in a way we never expected, but it's something we've always needed. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, leave a like, comment below what this story reminded you of, and share this video with someone who needs to feel love today, because everyone deserves to know that even after the storm, there is still hope. And sometimes it comes with 4 paws and a heart that refuses to give up on love. Thank you for being here. And remember, you're never alone. Never.